Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping powwowing at the Beijing Olympics, announcing a partnership of sorts against the U.S. and Western nations. This, as sources say, Russia has 70% of its troops in place for a full invasion of Ukraine. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Danny Davis joins me now. Colonel, good to see you. Thanks for being here. You know, back during the Cold War, and I'm old enough to remember those days, we worried about an alliance between the old Soviet Union and Mao's China. They never really pulled it off. In fact, they had some skirmishes between the countries. But are they moving in the direction of a real alliance now?
Yeah, you know, actually back then, I'm just, I guess, as old as you are. And I remember we actually spent time courting China to prevent that very thing, to get them on our side and sideline the Soviet Union. But now it's working in the opposite direction. And they absolutely are moving closer and closer together. And look, we got to be honest and admit that at least a portion of this reason is because we keep pressing both China and Russia on their most important issues and just keep on pushing sanctions, and on their issues on their borders, which we don't agree with anything that they're saying, but they hold to be core issues. And now that they're finding common cause against us, and it's something we have to pay a lot of attention to, or we could find ourselves in a lot of trouble.
Well, they're both expansionists. They both want to. Russia wants to get back what it lost at the end of the Cold War, and China wants to move in on Taiwan and other places. The question is whether a Russian invasion, which does seem like it's going to happen very soon, whether that will provide some sort of cover for China to go into Taiwan. Do you think that might happen?
You certainly can't discount that, because at the same time the whole world has been focused on the Russia-Ukraine situation. China has continued to make military provocations like they did last year, with lots of overflights, or not overflights, but flights very near the airspace of Taiwan. Direct warnings from high-ranking government officials that the U.S. risks war with China over the Taiwan issue. And look, it just, from a military perspective, if one side or the other goes, it makes a lot of sense for the other side to say, hey, this is our motion. So it is definitely a legitimate possibility.
Well, we're hearing some estimates about the cost to Putin and the cost to the world in terms of casualty figures now from some of our Russia watchers if they have a full invasion of Ukraine. And now they're thinking, he may feel free to go all the way to Kiev, to the capital, and just take over the whole thing. 5,000 to 25,000 Ukrainian troops killed or wounded, 4,000 Russian troops killed, an estimated 25,000 to 50,000 civilian casualties, along with 1 to 5 million possible refugees in Europe. I know Europe doesn't like those figures. What about Russia? Putin, as callous an individual as he is, he might face some pushback from the Russian people if casualties mount on the Russian side.
Man, I mean, that's certainly a possibility, although I frankly think those are very low numbers. I think the numbers in actual war are very low, because I think that the killing power and the striking power is so much higher than anything that we've seen in an actual war in decades. Is much worse than anybody thinks. But I tell you, the focus for us should not be on their casualties, but on the potential cost to us. And that's why, look, no matter what we want to say, Russia appears poised to strike here. And the one way we could probably deter them is not with sanctions or anything else, but with saying, hey, we're just going to take Ukraine membership of NATO off the table for now. We're going to put a moratorium on it, because it is not in our interest to have Ukraine in NATO. And if that can prevent a war, that is 10 times better than holding a tough position and then having Ukraine invaded. That helps no one. And I think we need to give serious consideration to that.
Well, speaking about our role in all this, a lot of military families, including my own, by the way, get very nervous, particularly after Afghanistan, at looking at troop movements and moving our own troops closer to where the fire is about to begin. Is there any danger of U.S. troops being drawn into all this?
Well, there's an absolute danger. That's one of the things I've been arguing about, that, we're sending over 3,000 troops up closer to the border. And frankly, these are light infantry troops, so the 82nd Airborne and a Stryker Brigade. And those are the lightest skinned vehicles. Even if you fought, you're talking Russia has high mechanized forces that are very well trained, and lots of them, and we wouldn't stand any chance. So, but the fact that you're moving them closer, but you probably have no intent to use them, God forbid that the president should actually send infantry into an armored fight, all you do is raise the chance of miscalculation and error actually causing a fort. So this is not a good move, and it doesn't deter Putin, and it doesn't help us.
Colonel, very quickly, we only got 20 seconds. I don't want to scare anybody, but Putin's supposedly also shifted some nuclear exercises to February from what was supposed to happen in the coming fall. Should that be of a concern to us?
It always is, and that's one of the main things I've been warning about for months now, is the possibility that if anything goes sideways, the nuclear escalation is definitely there and on the table, and this just highlights it.
Dangerous times. Colonel Danny Davis, good to see you, sir.